They're probably going to drop out of the campaign.
Also, you're saying they'll drop out of the race and you'll be the only one left.
Absolutely.
Now, let's say if they don't, and as you mentioned earlier that the district has changed and become very Hispanic. Now, you being of Indian origin and Alfonso being, is Hispanic, wouldn't you say that the people would go more with their own?
Alfonso I speak fluent Spanish than Alfonso curse. He's third generation Spanish. He only carries his name. His father or grandfather was a German, or mother or somebody from the Mexican name. Other than that, he never ever had.
Have you taken any polls, any straw polls on what people think about in that area?
My name is coming up more than anybody else's name now, because of the fact that this is what it is. The people who really supported Helen Sears in 2006 and 2002, they are hardcore Democrat. They belong to a club, JFK club.
Right.
And on their own meeting, I'm not a member of the JFK, but I know people who are members of that club. They told her to step down this time. They said, this is not right, you have to step down. But, I agree with her to run because it is a beautiful job and, so I don't quarrel with her on running again.
But then let's go back with Stanley. Let's say that you were in her shoes or any of the incumbent shoes and they were getting a third term. Wouldn't you go along with that?
No, I will
But that's what they said in 2001. Everybody said
I
the same
will go
thing.
with the 24 people who oppose.
But this is exactly what happened in 2001.
I know, I understand. I'm telling you.
The form saying that they would only run for 2 terms of 2 years.
I'm telling you now.
Same thing happened again.
I am telling you now, even if somebody comes along and they said, I'm going to run, I'm going to stick with what I said. There are 24 people who did not support. You have 51 people, 27 people supported.
Right.
And 24 people opposed.
Hear me out on this one. Term limits is a very controversial issue, and we all agree on that. There are pros and cons to it. People are for it and against it. But tell me something. There are people who have opposed mayor's term extension, but they're the same people running for different seats. It's like a musical chair. I run from here, you run from there. It's the same people, no outsiders running, whether it's the controller's seat or whether it's a public advocate seat. All citywide offices, the same people are running for city council, are running for other seats. So it's basically the same people running. There's no fresh outsider.
That is why I'm the fresh voice, new vision for change. That is exactly what it is.
Let's talk about your change. What change are you going to be bringing?
The thing is that this itself is a very important issue. As Renu said it is an important issue. Now, people who got elected saying that I'm going to run only for 2 times, and they again changed their tone to get... They
pledged that they would run only for 2 terms.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to ask the people, voters, go back to again. I'm not going to say, I'm not running against Bloomberg. Okay, I'm running against Helen Sears. I'm going to go to this district. I'm asking the same question to the people. If she pledged 2 times, I'm going to run only for 2 times. When she changed her mind, is it for the benefit of the community or is it for the benefit of herself? I'm asking this question to every people who listen to me. I'm going to go in the street and rallies throughout this coming 5 months.
Okay, now tell us, if you get in Helen's seat, what would be your priority?
Basically, there are 3 or 4 priorities every candidate have. If anybody says that my first priority is not education, they will be
But that's very broad-based.
And that's what I'm saying. So basically, education and senior citizen issues are very, very common. Everybody have to understand and follow. Whatever we can do, they have to do it. So I leave those 2 subjects apart because this is very common for any city candidate to take care, because children need they are dependent on community. Children's education depends on community, schools, and money from government. Number 1. This is the same thing. When people get older, their life is also depend on community. Community need to supplement and help them in their senior citizen ages, because not family, all the family cannot help senior citizens. The government have to step in every walk of their life, every issues they're going to face, we have to support. So those two issues, I am in same par with Helen Sears or any other candidate, nothing. Now, my important change which I am going to bring into this neighborhood is this. If Jackson Heights, if you take Jackson Heights alone, there are certain part of Jackson Heights so much beautiful. We have landmark buildings, we have beautiful streets, lined trees and beautiful flowers and gardens and everything. That's one part of Jackson Heights. But if you take a 2 block to the west and 2 block to the south, things are very different. I am very much concerned about Roosevelt Avenue, which is going to be one of my priorities. When I get elected, that is going to be one of my priorities.
Even 74th Street, the Kalpana Chawla Way, comes in that district. And we have, of course, our South Asians, that's the biggest strip that we have. It's now the South Asian part of Queens.
74 and 70.
There's a safety issue, there's gang violence over there, the kids getting into all the wrong activities. What are you going to do in terms, and then street lighting becomes a major issue.
It's a very good question. You are asking me a very good question. There are 2-3 things. Nobody else come up with this idea so far in the district where they are, because they don't worry about that part. Maybe because of the reason that their vote bank is here on the 35th and 34th. They can depend on the people who live in that 34th Avenue and 35th Street between 79 to 90 Street. They have a very big voting block there. And so they know that if they can get a majority of the voters who lives in that building, they will get elected. So they don't care on the other side of Roosevelt Avenue, Amherst or Lafayette City. It's not important to them. As I said, Helen Sears only got 4,218 votes.
There is enough to win.
That's all she won the last time. So she don't even have to go beyond 37th to the next side. I wanted to get 7,000 votes, not from 34th and 35th. I want to get that vote from Amherst, Lafayette City, Rego Park, and every part of Corona and Woodside. Now, I wanted to make a priority Roosevelt Avenue, 69th Street to 95th Street. When I get elected, I'm going to make that in a different zone, either business improvement zone like we did in Manhattan, or restaurant zone, tourist attraction zone, or something like that. I tell you why. If you are familiar with Roosevelt Avenue, 69th Street, if you walk 10 blocks, you will see amazingly beautiful restaurants and beautiful cuisines from every part of the world.
What about the 74th Street? You still haven't answered my question.
No, I'm coming to that.
Which is a nightmare.
I'm coming to that. All these places have beautiful restaurants. One of the most beautiful, the excellent exotic foods you can get is there. And the reasonable price. You cannot beat the price, even if you go to Manhattan. But I wanted to invite people to come here, to Roosevelt Avenue. 74 and 73rd is the only place where we have Indian, you cannot say Indian now, it's a Southeast Asian, because 73rd is almost taken by Bangladesh people and some Pakistanis. And we have only one street now, basically we can say it is Indian. Other than there is nothing. So the problem here is this. That problem is connected to Roosevelt Avenue. I tell you why. In Roosevelt Avenue, if you are a woman, if you are, you cannot walk after 8 o'clock in the night. Because you are so afraid, you can see that you will be threatened.
Very isolated, yeah.
Yeah, there is no lighting nowhere. Because you know what? Nobody cares. Helen Sears was a city council member. She should have done a phenomenal job to bring a lot of light, lot of clean up that city near Roosevelt Avenue part. She didn't do it. Now, second problem, the very big problem, why we have a problem in the crime in that neighborhood. Do you know that